Vince Freeman takes accountability for his new single, Blame Myself, taken from his debut album, Scars, Ghosts and Glory. It's out on March the 22nd, and Vince joins me now. How are you doing, Vince?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. It's a privilege to speak to you, Vince. And after hearing your brand new single, I thought we've got to have you on the show and tell for listeners to hear you tell us all about it.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Now, it's our privilege, by the way. Now, for listeners who are new to your music, could you tell us when it all started for you, writing and performing music?
Oh, my. I guess sort of, when everything was still black and white.
Not as far back as Laurel and Hardy, though.
No, not quite that far back. But, I've been doing it a while. I mean, I grew up in a family that, my dad was a very keen amateur sportsman. So I grew up basically playing every single sport under the sun. Went to university and did a sports science degree. So music was one of these things where kind of I didn't know music should be in my life. I always felt like there was something missing,
yes,
but I didn't know what it was. And it was, I didn't get a guitar till I was 21.
Wow.
And so I got a guitar, and it was one of those kind of, weird sort of eureka moments. It was the moment I got it, I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I've been missing. And I didn't leave my room for like 4 days. It was it was a stocking filler at Christmas, and it was a broken second-hand guitar. There was a hole in the bottom of it, and one of the strings had broken.
Yeah,
it was kind of a last-minute thing. But I genuinely, I didn't leave my room for for about 3 or 4 days, and about maybe 2 years after that, I was making noises that were relatively recognizable.
Yes.
And I guess I think my first gig was when I was about maybe 23.
Right.
And it's quite funny because that's really late, right? And I remember, I mean, this is going to sound like a sort of a celebrity story, but I met Ed Sheeran very early on in his career. We did shows and stuff together, but I remember I was running this gig in Cheltenham, this show, and he rang me up and he said, "Oh, I've heard this. You run this show and it's really great. Could I come and play?"
Yes.
He was 16 at the time, right, and I was 26 when around then. He already had 10 years on me in terms of musical experience.
Oh my goodness!
It was just it was that moment where I was just like, wow, I've got a lot catching up to do.
It's great.
So I mean, that's where it started. For me, and I guess I got the bug when I got given a guitar, and it's just never left me. I'm fascinated by music. I'm always learning, and I don't think I'm ever going to figure it out, which is it's the most wonderful puzzle.
It is, yes. I mean, I'll tell you what it is. Getting that guitar and spending 4 days there, it certainly has worked a dream for you. And I know somebody else who had that similar kind of thing, except he had inspiration from seeing somebody over in Spain sitting on a step playing the Spanish guitar, and that was David Payton of the group Pilot, who of course had the hit single, the big number one, January, and also he did Oh 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 It's Magic. So that's you and him in the same club there.
Well, that's a nice club to be in. I'll take it.
So yeah, it sounds absolutely fantastic, your brand new single. Now, talking about music and such like, because that's what we're here to talk about. Do you find it easy to write music?
Yeah. Kind of a one-word answer. I haven't always found it easy to write good music.
Right.
I've always found it easy. You know, I mean, I think 6 months after having my guitar, I'd written probably 30, 40 really terrible songs. And I found that really easy. I think the work comes in. I feel like songwriting for me has been a journey of honesty.
Yes.
So, you know, when I started writing songs, I'd write lyrics that kind of, you know, they'd end, you know, you'd look back at them and you go, oh, that's so generic. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, oh, I miss you. I love you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, the sun was shining down, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I think one of the only things that I feel like I've learned is that people see through, you know, lies. People see through, and also I feel like people gravitate towards honesty, and so I don't, you know, I don't know whether I'm there yet, but I know I write honest now. You
Yes,
know?
well, a phrase that I always use because a lot of people that I do speak to are like yourself with nice, honest lyrics and things, is that people can't see through people and that it's best to keep it real.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny because, you know, I don't usually talk about people like, you know, Ed Sheeran and stuff, but one of the things for me in a very sort of vicarious comparison,
Yeah.
things like Lego House and 18 and Small Bump, you know, off the Plus album, I genuinely do believe that the reason why people, you know, he's become such a household name, and people, you know, people kind of like hold him like very close to them, you know, and I think that's because his lyrics are honest and he writes about what he knows, especially the early albums, you know, you don't need me, I need you, you know, I don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
you know, all that kind of stuff, and I think it resonates with people, you know. I feel like, you know, you can get lucky, but I feel like you can only really get lucky once or twice,
That's right.
you know. So yeah, so for me, that's the thing with songwriting. You know, I do find it easy because I, like, on my phone I've got like thousands and thousands and thousands of lyrics. I just, you know, things, you know, I see, you know, I'll see something and I go, oh, that's cool, and I'll write that, you know, I'll write it down, and you know, you know, but then the work comes in terms of, you know, making it honest, making it interesting. You know, I like, someone said to me recently, you write weird.
But that's good, isn't it?
And I was like, okay, I'll take that. You know, it's things like, you know, there's a track on the album called Real Love, and the opening line is, could I escape from my body? Today I stopped running upstairs. You know,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
like, it's, you know, it was just simply that when I was younger, when I was sort of maybe late teens, early 20s, I always used to think, I'll know when I'm old because I'll stop running up and down stairs.
Correct.
Like, you know,
That's me, though. At my mum and dad's house, I can't run up the stairs anymore. And they're
Yeah.
like that.
exactly. And for me, that lyric was written some time before. So it was written about 4 or 5 years ago. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was right in the middle of some really excruciating pain with my back.
Right.
I'd had like 3 or 4 operations, and I was like, I was kind of like on all the medication that you could possibly imagine.
Of course, yes. I've had all of them as well.
You know, and I was on that 24/7. So I suddenly realised that today I stopped running upstairs. You know, it was enough to hobble up the stairs at that
Yes.
point. And
Yes.
you know, I like that. So that's kind of how I write. You know, the easy part is, you know, the songs. You know, melodies. Kind of. I feel quite lucky in the sense that melodies seem to come to me very easily.
Right.
Honing the songs, that's where the hard work is. You know.
That's right. I mean, when you like you say, you've got lots of lyrics in your phone there, but
Yeah.
you know those lyrics, even one of those bits of lyrics can become maybe a title of a big hit. Because I spoke to the two guys. I've got the two guys' names. Alan thing from D Ream.
Right.
And the story goes, which you would see on me, you know, on my channel, or hear the interview again. And on the interview, he was in the office, and somebody said, "You know something? Things can only get better."
Yeah.
Straight into the studio. No, you went straight home, and he writes a song. Things can only get better. So, you know, things can, you know, work wonders, can't they? When you actually have some kind of idea in your head, jot it down in your phone there. Yeah. You just...
I love it because you never know when that moment hits. I mean, Billy Joel, I won't say that this is my coined phrase, but Billy Joel calls it his spare parts bucket.
Yes.
You know, and
he grab little bits out of it.
Little bits and stuff like that. I mean, you know, one of the... I was recording the only cover on the album Sun is Shining with Paul Visser, Gold Crush, the producer, and I was singing in the vocal booth, and we were just in a brief moment, like a brief break, and I went, "Do you know what? I wouldn't be heartbroken if this is what breaks me." Right? And he went, "What did you just say?" And we've written the song, but we haven't recorded it yet. But I ran into the room, and we wrote this song, you know, and it's the crazy that makes me, you know, and it's like, and it just, that was just one like instant.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it just falls out of you. Other times, you know, you've got to kind of make your way past roadblocks. That's right. Yeah, and I've just remembered it. It's Peter Cunn and Al Mackenzie of D Ream. Just in case they're looking in. Yes, they see it. Like I say, you just get an idea, write it down, or whatever, and it can sell millions. Well, you never know. You never know. Now, who are your major musical influences? Is it Ed Sheeran? No, I wouldn't say in any way, shape, or form. And that's when you were when you were growing up, you'll have had lots of different influences. Yeah, and I was just about to say, I don't think that's a derogatory comment about Ed. No, it's the fact that I didn't know him. You know, when I was growing up, and you know, when he wasn't even born. Yeah. Stop it. But so when I was growing up, I mean, you know, like my music taste was terrible, and and also I kind of my older sister was massively into like the indie scene. Yeah. So it was like Happy Mondays, Stone Roses, and Spiral Carpets. Yeah. Like, James, The Farm, you know, all of that, and then my mum was into like the Mamas and Papas, Tracy Chapman. Yes. My dad was just, I think, basically only into Tom Jones. Right. Very good. I like Tom. And that was before I got the guitar. And as soon as I got the guitar, I basically sort of essentially became a sponge. I just was like, if somebody would say, "Oh, I love this," I'd go, "Okay, you know." I think musical influences. The guy who actually sort of really inspired me to sort of, you know, to write and try and craft that, you know, that skill. Yeah. And, was Ryan Adams. And right. Yeah, I was coaching tennis at the time, and I had this Austin MG Metro.
Right.
And it didn't have a radio, but it did have this wire that came out of the thing, and I had this Sony Discman.
Right.
But I didn't have any CDs.
Great.
And I was coming back from this, this coaching session, and I stopped at this garage, and there was a bargain bucket, by the till.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll just pick, and it was like 50 pence for a CD, so I just picked up one, and it was Ryan Adams' Gold album.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then, after that, I listened to kind of, Love Is Hell, and like Shadowlands is one of my all-time favorite songs. It's heartbreaking, it's depressing, and and it's kind of not the sort of it's not really the sort of song that you kind of want to listen to if you're feeling a little bit down about yourself.
Yes.
But it's just brutal humanity. And for me, what's really strange about it is that the melancholic nature of the lyrics and the song itself actually lift me. It's a beautiful piece of music. So he's a massive influence. The other guy is just a musical hero of mine is Billy Joel.
Yes.
I got to see him last year. I didn't meet him, by the way, but I'm hoping that that's going to happen because my agent happens to be his.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes.
But, I mean, if I got to do that, that would be amazing. I mean, it was a dream come true. I went and saw him at Hyde Park.
Wow, that would have been amazing atmosphere and everything.
You know what? I was genuinely terrified that he was going to be bad and, past it.
Yeah.
And he just exceeded every single expectation that I could possibly have. When he did She's Always a Woman.
Yes.
100,000 people and you could hear a pin drop. And I was like,
wow.
There we go.
Amazing. Yeah, I like Billy Joel. There's a lot of artists who do come back and they do go on stage and on big stages, mind. And
he's releasing.
Some people get the audiences to sing.
Yeah, he's releasing his first single in 27 years.
Wow,
yeah, because I always, one of the interviews that he did many years ago was like, "Why did you stop writing songs?" He went, "I've said everything I wanted to say." I was like, wow, I think for me, one of the reasons why Billy Joel is my hero is that he just spans every single genre. He doesn't care, songs from an Italian restaurant. That's
it's wonderful, that one.
It's like a mini West End or Broadway show.
It is.
It goes from one. It is like 4 or 5 songs in one. And it's just magnificently bonkers. It's just like
that's right.
And then he'll do stuff like River of Dreams, which is.
I was just going to say that he's a River of Dreams.
Yeah, but that's for me that's kind of one of the cheesiest songs you could ever write, but he just doesn't. He never really conformed to any particular genre specifics or rules. And I love that because then he'll just go, do you know what? I'm just going to write New York State of Mind. Mic drop.
That's right. And he's still motorbiking as well.
Yeah.
I saw his interview with
Uptown Girl.
I know. I saw him do an interview with Brian Johnson of AC/DC. It was on one of the Sky channels. And he's got a massive motorbike collection and everything. It's just a great interview. You'll have to look at that one. Brian Johnson of AC/DC. I think it was on Sky Art or something, but you'll be able to hit that up there and you'll be able to hear, exactly what he's all about. And, I'd love to go and see him at a gig one day. We'll have to get Billy Joel on this show. What if someone can do something about that? If you get in touch with him there, Vince, through your management.
Oh, you know what? The last 2 years have been it has been a dream come true.
Yeah.
You know, I've always wanted to be a fully fledged recording artist, and I've been able to do that for the last year and a half. I've always wanted to record and write and produce an album that my kids will listen to. You know, they'll show their kids and go, "My dad did that."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I just wholeheartedly believe in the record, and you know, so on that basis, I'm just kind of I'm in this beautiful boat, and I just, you know, I'd like to stay in it as long as I can, and if Billy Joel gets in for a brief proportion, then we can, you know, then you know that'll be great, and I feel like I've got to a point in my career, in my life, where I just kind of like, do you know what? If somebody says to me, "You can't do something," I turn around and go, "Watch me," because I will. You know, and I don't know when that changed for me, but it did, and it's you know, it's manifested into this this beautiful journey that I've been on, and I'm loving every minute of it. And you know, it's really proved to me that anything is possible. You know, and that it's not about like steely defiance, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's just, you know, it's acceptance. You know, I just realized that I need to be doing music. I can't imagine a life without music for me. And I think that you know, if you're doing something that you truly love, then you're on your path anyway, you know.
That's right. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you and Billy Joel in that boat there, sailing down the river of dreams. Did I that one?
Teed that one up here.
You did. Ching. Excellent.
That's great.
Now, what people don't know is that your career is actually one to be admired, and we know that for sure with you telling us about your story so far, Vince. And one is always, you've always been the one that's centered around hard work. It is a regular performer at West London club Ginlick, and you actually founded their popular night Shush, performing alongside and helping to give early opportunities to the likes of Ed Sheeran, Paolo Nutini, Newton Faulkner, and Niz Lopi. And later, around the time, you were part of BBC One's TV talent show The Voice under the mentorship of the Scripts Danny O'Donoghue, and you were playing 300 gigs a year. What was it like performing alongside Ed Sheeran and the like?
You know what? Like, firstly, so I didn't found, like, so basically Shush was a night that I founded based on the best shows that were running in London.
Right.
You know, I lived in Cheltenham, and I was like, gigging musicians will know this, right? Anybody listening to this, they'll know this. Gigging musicians don't get to see musicians.
No.
They don't get to go to concerts because they're working. So when I was younger, I was like, I really want to see these guys and these girls play. Like, I really love, you know, the CD that I've, you know, bought or whatever. And so I was like, how am I going to do it? I know, I'll just run a night. So I can invite, it's like doing a podcast and kind of going, you know, so I can get to speak to the people that really interest me.
That's right, you can pick them off the list. I know that. I like them.
Exactly that. And so I started this night called Shush, which was, you know, based upon all you know, I plagiarized all the good bits from, you know, Ginglick, Kashmir Club, the Bedford, you know, these, you know, venues in London that I've been playing that are like showcase venues.
Yes.
I just was like, I'd really like to see this guy play, you know, this girl play, and blah blah blah. And I just invite people, and it got very popular very quickly.
Yes.
And it was sort of a victim of its own success, because after about 2 years, I was like, I either need to do this full time or I need to, essentially let it go.
Yeah.
Because it just became a situation where labels were sending me their new signings.
Yeah.
People knew about the night, and so every month it would be sold out. But the work that was involved with that, it was
It's a lot involved. Yes, to get it together.
It was a bitter pill, really, because I loved the nights.
Yeah.
But it just kind of got to that point where it was like, okay, I'm now having to turn down, gigs of my own in order to do this.
Yeah.
But with regards to kind of playing with all those people, I think, and this is not me kind of being humble or anything like that. I think with any industry, you reach a certain level and then the club's very small.
Yeah.
Right. So I had reached a certain level in my career where I was playing the showcase venues around London and various different other places, and you'd see the same faces.
Yes.
So it would be, Jamie Roon, it'd be James Morrison, it'd be Newton Faulkner, it'd be, and these guys, most of them back then, they were just jobbing musicians, just hoping to get a break.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Some of the gigs that I've, some of the performances that I've done, have been where the artist is, very much established, and I'm there and I'm supporting. I did a support for Jocelyn Brown, which was an absolute privilege.
Excellent, that.
And I've done gigs like that. I opened for Eric Clapton and Steve Gadd and Steve Winwood at the LG Arena. But some of these gigs, I remember doing a gig with Paolo Nutini at Ginglick, and he wouldn't know me now. Most of the guys would. I don't think Paolo would know me, because he had just moved down to London.
Yeah.
He was this really handsome Italian-looking guy, and we were on after him.
Right.
And so he was there, and I was like, God, this guy's good. And then he did Autumn Leaves a cappella.
Wow.
Floored the room, and then we're passing in the aisle when I'm going up to do my stint, and I was like, mate, that was amazing. And he's like, thank you very much. And I'm like,
where did that come from?
It was because I didn't know him and I hadn't had a conversation with him.
No,
I hadn't heard him talk. I was like, it was just the weirdest, strangest thing, because I expected, anything but a broad Glaswegian accent, but the thing for me is I love great music and great artists, and so I suppose the answer to that question is that it's always amazing to meet truly talented people. So
absolutely great story. That I love it. Now, you mentioned there that you've performed at some supported a lot of big names, performing at the likes of the Formula One at Silverstone, horse racing at Ascot, the FA Cup final, and you received a platinum disc for a collaboration with Lost Frequencies.
I did, yeah. 5
European top 10s, sharing the stages with, as you mentioned, Eric Clapton, Paul Weller, Jocelyn Brown, Jamie Woon, and even you have a thank you on Ed Sheeran. We love talking about Ed Sheeran today.
Really,
he's the buzzword, isn't he? On his debut album, you've got a little bit of a thank you in there, haven't you?
Yeah. That you've kind of made me sound like big time. I feel like it should be. Like I say, a lot of these things, I'm not kind of trying to sort of be humble about it, but a lot of these things, just sort of come about because, I love music. I love working hard. I like being part of a conversation.
Yes.
And that allows, that allows for certain opportunities as they come along. The Ed Sheeran thing, I didn't know he'd given me a thank you on the Plus album.
No.
And it's somewhere between Elton John and Ellie Goulding.
Right.
But I feel like I know why, because Ed was like, he's like a sponge, like, for knowledge.
Yes.
Like I feel like he's done that his entire career, and the people that I know that know him,
Yes.
I've kind of sort of echoed those sentiments, where he'll look to find something that's exceptional,
Yeah.
and then he'll go and he'll ask a million questions about how and why and what
Right.
and when. And I remember the first time I met him, it was just kind of like the Spanish Inquisition. It was like, and what do you do if you, and like, and one of the things I said to him, because I was doing about 300 gigs a year.
Yeah. Wow.
It does take its toll, by the way. Like,
I bet it does.
but I remember very clearly saying to him, look, you never know who's in the room, so don't say no to anything. Just get out there and do as many gigs as you like, as you can. And I'm paraphrasing because it was a long time ago, but that I think that's why. If it was for any other reason, I have no idea.
But it's good to get your name known and your face known and such, like, because that really does help you with your career. And if you've got lots of fingers and lots of pies, if you excuse the phrase, but it always helps.
Yeah, it's for me, I love having stories. I love having stories because I've had adventures, and I feel like you only get this one moment, and like I don't feel like I've got my house, and and I want to have as many adventures as I can before I go screaming into my grave on a Harley Davidson.
That's right, with Billy Joel on your back.
With Billy Joel on my back.
Can you imagine it? Fabulous. Excellent.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, we're having a great chat here. I hope the listeners, you're enjoying the conversation here. We're here, by the way, if you've just joined us, with Vince Freeman.
It's me.
And yes, that's him there. Now, the vinyl revival is upon us. What is your favourite record you have ever bought and why?
Give me 1 second. Hold on. I lost you for a moment. So what is my favourite?
What's your favourite record that you've ever bought in your life and why? So far.
That's easy. It's funny because sometimes those kind of questions are difficult to answer. This one isn't.
No.
Jeff Buckley, Grace.
Wow.
The great album by Jeff Buckley. It's just, I will never be able to touch that, and I love it for that reason, because I would never dream of like even covering any of his of that album. Lilac, Last Goodbye is probably my favorite song of all time.
Yes.
The story, but the fact that for me, I had to learn to love Jeff Buckley, and that was the weirdest thing, and I think that's why it's become my my favorite album, bar none, because I spent about 3 weeks with the Grace album just trying to figure out what it was that my mate had. A songwriting friend of mine had said, "You've got to listen to Jeff Buckley."
Jeff Buckley, yes.
And I respected him, so much that instead of listening to it the first time and going, "Oh my God, I don't like it,"
yeah,
I spent 3 weeks just listening to it over and over, and it was just like, it's just one of those moments where I was like, oh, I get it, because his voice isn't for everybody, and it's because I found this out later on, because it's to do with the science of how we perceive singing and perceive notes, musical notes.
yes.
So human brains are used to hearing vibrato. So
Yeah.
Jeff Buckley sings with almost perfect pitch, so it's a straight note, so it's
Yes.
uncomfortable. Rufus Wainwright is another guy that sings almost with perfect pitch, and for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I don't like it, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It is kind of like that with Jeff Buckley, but he was an alien. It was just like, and Last Goodbye is just like, it's just a masterpiece. Yeah,
Fabulous. Well, my favorite album is Michael McDonald's Sweet Freedom, because it's got fabulous. It's got everything. Road.
Listen to
a different road. And to see what's going on deep inside your heart. See if we could sing the whole song with all the words.
Have you seen the BBC Symphony Orchestra?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
So it's the Electric Proms.
Right.
Michael McDonald and the BBC Symphony Orchestra. It's just, if that's your favorite album, you've got like.
I'll have to get that on the iPlayer.
Yeah. I mean, literally, if you Google it, it'll come up straight away. It's not like obscure, but it's amazing performance.
Wow, and that's my entertainment for the night. Thank you very much. I'm pleased I mentioned him. Because he doesn't do all of the vibrato either, does he?
No, it's more like,
you know what I mean? It's like,
but also the thing is, like, I mean, how he gets up there.
Oh yeah.
He's great.
On my own with Bell and Our Love.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think you've made it when the Simpsons make a cartoon version of yourself.
Exactly. Oh, lush, yeah. Hey, I'm pleased that I had a connection there with Michael McDonald. Michael, if you're watching, I want to speak to you about your album.
Get in touch.
Yes, your first one, Sweet Freedom, there, when you are away from the Doobie Brothers there.
There we go.
Now, in April, you're going to be embarking on a tour. Please, can you tell us what to expect at the show?
Well, do you know what? One of the really important things for me was, I feel like all these songs, I know that all these songs hold up. I could hum them to you. I could play them. I could do a tour on my own, but this album needs to be played with a band. So that's the first thing that you're going to expect. This is not many people do that these days, especially as singer-songwriters. No. But this is a full UK headline tour with a full 5 or 6 piece band.
Wow.
And it's we're gonna knock people's socks off.
Excellent. And are you going to be visiting anywhere in the northeast of England at all?
I am. Yeah, bear with me. I'm just gonna bring up the dates.
That's fine.
Because
great.
It would be better if I give you the dates rather than wax lyrical.
Because it's going to be a massive tour with all of the hits from the album.
So the whole album. I've got a special guest with me on the tour as well. He's actually playing the guitar with me. He's a chap called Cy Connolly. Wow. He's an amazing artist in his own right. I'm doing Newcastle, Manchester, Sheffield, and Glasgow. So I'm doing the Think Tank on the 12th of April. I'm doing the Yellow Arch in Sheffield on the 15th. Manchester, I'm doing 33 Oldham Street on the 11th. And then I've got King Tut's on the 14th of April. That's Glasgow. So that's the sort of north of England and into Scotland.
Indeed. Yes, you've got everywhere covered there. That's absolutely excellent. Yeah. Now, where can listeners get tickets, and also how can they follow you?
The best thing to do, I think, because I feel like the demographic of who listens to me and who would be interested is really varied. So I would suggest just going to vincefreeman.com, because then you can just go wherever you want from there.
Yeah.
So, if you want to go to my Insta, you can go from there. Insta, TikTok, Twitter, or X.
Yes.
You can pre-order the album on there, and there's also a live button, so you can look, you can buy tickets from that sort of central hub.
Excellent.
So,
yeah, we'll be heading over there to the website. And what was the website again?
VinceFreeman.com.
VinceFreeman.com. We will certainly be going over there right now. Well, after the interview, we'll be doing that in any case. Now, unfortunately, we've run out of time, would you believe, Vince?
Okay.
It's been absolutely a privilege chatting with you, and I'd like to wish you all the very best with the tour and also with your brand new single, which is out now, Blame Myself. And apparently you blame yourself, but I don't think you should, because you're absolutely amazing. Vince, could you please introduce your latest single?
Yeah, this is the new single from Scars, Ghosts and Glory, my album out on the 22nd of March. It's called Blame Myself. Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Vince, for joining me on the show, and it'd be great to catch up with you again in the future.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, man. I've had a proper giggle.
Fabulous. It's been a privilege. Speak to you soon. All the best.
Take care.
See you later.